amped up the talk about a medical school in recent months. What's the potential time frame we're looking in terms of getting the shovels out and building this thing?
I think that it depends critically on when and under what circumstances this community steps up to the plate. Because clearly in the current funding climate with the legislature and so forth, the notion that you're going to go to the legislature for these kinds of resources is very remote. And so what's going to happen is the community will have to make a decision about whether it's prepared to provide financial support. And when that decision is made, along with the support that will come from, I hope, Seton, the St. David's system, philanthropy in the community, the University of Texas Regents are very committed to this, as well as to a medical school in South Texas. We're looking at South Texas at the same time that we're working here. But as soon as that happens, you're talking about 2 or 3 years before you can matriculate the first students, but you can start hiring faculty and doing research within the next 12 months.
You mentioned community support. In what ways does the community support, other than the hospitals getting on board and things like that, how else does the community come on board and support this in some way? Say it's just someone watching at home. Dr. Dickey, do you have any things that...
No, I think I would honestly have to say that Senator Watson is actually talking about a very new model, because historically medical schools in this state and most other states have been built with state money. Private schools obviously go a different pathway, but if we're talking about not being able to turn to the legislature, and there is a problem, the legislature has cut the funding, the pool of money available for medical education, and so there is concern that if the University of Texas wants another medical school and that pool doesn't get any bigger, then the amount available for all the other institutions of medical education would be reduced. So we applaud Senator Watson suggesting there's got to be another way, but most of the time that price tag is pretty spectacular. I think Dr. Schein himself said a couple of years ago we were talking $2 billion. So I suppose you look at funding sources that are in the community.
Yeah, I should comment with regard to that figure. That was an aggregate figure before Seton stepped up, before all of these other things happened. It is much more doable today in terms of finances. And I'm not going to predict exactly what Senator Watson's going to do, but I would guess that there will have to be some move to raise money locally for operations,
Bobby,
in one form or another.
It could be a tough sell, but a lot of people will say my taxes are high enough already.
You know, it is, and we've got a lot of issues in this community right now that we're all kind of staring at. And we talk about the value of a medical school, we've got transportation issues, we've got education issues, and I think the point is for everybody to keep in mind, we're going to have to do it differently than it's ever done before. But guess what? We live in Austin, Texas. We've got a lot of smart people here. I think the key is that, and that's why I applaud KXAN for this forum tonight, it is about educating the community and bringing the information as to what the value points are, and it's going to take the entire community to get it behind it. There's going to be some decisions made. There's going to have to be some prioritization as to what's important in this community, and I think there's a lot of people that understand the value proposition for a medical school at the University of Texas here in Austin has tremendous value to a lot of folks on a lot of different levels.